Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about the Business Central 2023 release wave 1. So there are so many new features available in this release, and there are many features are so exciting to see. So if you haven't watched my previous YouTube video for the previous major release before, and here's how you can get to the latest release. You can either Google search it, or you can also go to your Business Central tenant and then click on the question mark and go to help and support. From here, you can go to coming soon, and then you can see all the releases in the past and also the future release. So in this case, we're going to click on Microsoft Dynamics 365. It will bring you to the latest release. However, we need to go to the SMB, which means small and medium-sized businesses. So then you can go to Dynamics 365 Business Central, what's new and planned. So this is all the features in this release for 2023 release with 1. And I'm gonna quickly go through some of them which I feel exciting and interesting, and then I'll show you how they works. Since my Business Central SaaS tenant in CDX hasn't been upgraded to the latest release because the major release will be on April the 1st, and now it's still in March. And I cannot show you in this version in my Business Central SaaS tenant because it's still on the Business Central version 21.4. You can see here. I'm gonna use a local environment, which is the Docker container I created, and to show you these new features. So let's go back to this what's new and planned for Business Central. And first I want to talk, so for all these features related to Power Apps and Power Automate, I cannot really show you because some of them are not available yet. You could see the public preview is in April and or May or June. And this one is available in March, but however, this is related to how you can share it to Teams. And I need that environment to connect it to Teams. So I cannot really show you in my Docker container because my Docker container is a local environment. But whatever here, I would like to say for the Power Automate and Power Apps, for example, they added more sample templates for you to use to create a Power Automate and Power Apps. And then most of the business, so some companies, some businesses who use Business Central, they have the integration with the external system. And in that case, and they want to subscribe to the Business Central business events, and then they can do something in their external system. So in this release, Business Central provided more events for those external systems to subscribe. So then you can create. So for example, you can create a Power Apps, and then that Power Apps could subscribe to an event when you post a sales invoice. Then it's gonna do something. For example, when you post a sales invoice in Business Central, and then you want an external system to send the electronic invoice to the government, maybe for the CRA, for the Canada Revenue Agency to do something. So you can create those kind of event subscriber in Power Apps. And another thing I want to say is so you can see it allow you to support dynamic environment and dynamic environment and company in Power Platform Connector. So what this does is it allow you to create your own Power Apps and publish to the app source, and it will be packaged to the app source, and then for the users who download your app, and they can easily plug into their Business Central environment and company. So this is very useful because you can create Power Apps and publish to app stores instead of you have to use the Visual Studio Code to create some custom extensions. So this is very interesting feature. And then for the next section, this is about the applications. So there's a lot of exciting things I see here. And so just gonna skip these two because I cannot really show you the exchange rates. This feature is not even in the public preview yet, and also same for this. This is exciting feature because many clients has this request, like when they post, for example, when they post an invoice, and for some specific scenario, they have exception. They don't want to use what you configured in the general posting setup or the customer posting group to post to that account receivable account, GL account. They want to post to another account receivable GL account. Okay, so this feature will allow you the flexibility to do that. You can create an alternative account receivable or account payable account to be posted to for those exceptions that you need to manage. Okay, and so add more columns to pages for better insights. So in this version, in this release, Microsoft worked very hard on provide you like many more fields than you can add by yourself. And also another thing which is similar to this feature, I think it just kind of in different area, but it does the same thing. It lets you if you go to the user experiences, you can see it add existing table fields to optimize your pages. So previously, even the fields available in the table, but on the pages, on many pages, you only have very few limited fields you can add. You cannot add. It's not all the table fields available for you to add to the page, and you still have to hire a developer to add additional fields to the page in order for you to be able to personalize and add that to the page. So in this version, Microsoft made all the table fields available, and then you can personalize and add by yourself. So you don't need to ask a developer to add that field to the page from the table first, then you can personalize it. You can just personalize directly because all the table fields are exposed to the pages and for you to select to personalize now. Okay, so that's exciting. And also for the application areas, and I want to talk about like avoid document number errors when you post item journal. So this feature, you have to, so I'm going to my Docker container now, and I'm gonna show you in the item journal what you can do with this feature. So the use case is like when you post item journal, sometimes like if you do not have a document number here, and when you try to post, it will error out. So like I blank out the document number on the first two lines on purpose. And then you see why I posted, it just give me an error. It just tell you like you cannot leave the document number to be blank when you post it. And so what you can do with this feature, so it just you don't need to add these numbers manually, and but providing you have to, in order for you to do that, to let the system auto populate the document number for you, even you leave it blank, then you have to go to the batch. So you can access the batch from the three dots beside the batch, and then you have to add a list and add a number series. I just added item journal number series. If you don't put anything here, then the system will not automatically do it for you because the system doesn't know what number series you want to follow for the naming convention to when you post the journal line for the document number. So you have to define a number series there. After you define that, even you have blank number here, and when you try to then Microsoft added additional function. So you have to go to actions function, and you see there's a renumber document numbers. If you click on this, then it tells you like if you have many documents, you can take time to sort them and blah blah blah. Okay, and then it just say in those cases was suggest you to sort them during non-working hours. Do you want to continue? I do have many lines, but I only have 2 lines blank, so I don't really care. It will not take long. It's just a warning for you, like how long it could take. So I want the system to auto-populate the document number for the first 2 lines. I'm gonna click on yes. So you can see right after I click on yes, to let the system renumber it for me, then the system just automatically populate the document number here. So this is really handy. Then you don't even need to enter all these document numbers here, but as long as you have a number series defined there, when you post it, you can just say renumber, go to actions, functions, and say renumber document numbers. It will automatically populate for you. And okay, so let's go back to our features. And it has this catalog items you standard number series can include in blanket sales order. So previously, for the catalog items, the purpose for the catalog item is for the dropship, because you don't need to carry the inventory. You only want to convert to actual inventory item when you really have orders on them. But previously, you can only put the catalog items on the sales order. You cannot do it on the blanket sales order. And with this release, so you can definitely do it, and you just go to the blanket sales orders. Then you can create a new blanket sales order, and then let's just select this customer. And on the line of this blanket order, you can go to functions and say select catalog items. So I have these catalog items created in my system before, but they're only on the catalog. They're not converted to the inventory items. So let's take a look of this 2200. So if we go to the items and search for 2200, you will not see it. I'm just gonna change it to the list view. Now we can see all the items here. And then I want to search the item number 2200. You can see I don't have it, okay? So, and now because it's allow you to put it on the blanket order, so which means after I select this catalog item, system will automatically create this inventory item for me. So you can also drill down from here to see it, right? So because you can see this is already the item table, and it shows you have a item number 2200 here. And just want to, because I want to show you consistently, previously I just go to this list and I search 2200, it doesn't show up. Now I go to the item list and they show up now, right? By searching 2200. So this is available in the blanket sales order now. And gonna skip this one. So this one, demo data, demo tool and data for warehouse and inventory scenarios. So this is also very good for if you are doing pre-sales and you're a consultant, you want to demo to your clients for different warehouse configuration on different warehouse and inventory scenarios. Then if you install this extension called the Console Coffee Demo Datasets, you can install both versions. This is created by Microsoft. You can install this. Well, after you install these extensions, then you go to your locations. Then you will see there are 3 more locations created. So there are silver, white, and yellow. And these 3 locations has different configuration on them. So if we go to the silver, you can see on the silver location, there's only bin mandatory configured, and that's a typical warehouse setting. And then if you go to the yellow location, then you could see it has all these advanced warehousing enabled, but it doesn't have directed put away and pick. So it has require receive and require put away, which means you will need to use the warehouse put away and a warehouse receipt and put away documents, and it has the require shipment and the require pick enabled. So you need to use the warehouse shipment and pick documents. And also it has another bring up another location, which is the white location. This location has use all those warehouse documents and has the directed put away and pick enabled. So these 3 warehouse setup is a very typical settings most of clients use this. And so let's go to the next one. So this is easier to create opening balances for item tracked inventory. This is a really nice feature because previously when you implement Business Central and you import open balance for the inventory, and when you go to the item journal, and when you use the item journal to import the open balances for your inventory, if you are using the lot tracking or serial tracking, you use item tracking, then it's more complicated because you have to, at the same time, you have to use the reservation entry table. You have to use the configuration package for both the item journal line table and the reservation entry table in order to import the item tracking lines, because the item tracking lines will be brought in by the reservation entry table. And so in this release, what you can do is in the item journal, it gives you an option in the journal batch. And so if you go to this journal batch and add the list, you see there's an item tracking on lines. If you enable this and then click on OK and scroll to the right on the item journal, you can see we have the serial number, lot number, expiration date, warranty date, all these additional columns added. Okay, I just want to show you the difference. If I just go to edit list and remove this check mark, item tracking on lines, then come back, then you come to see you don't have those additional columns anymore. Okay, so this is really handy because we do not need to use the reservation entry table to import the item tracking lines anymore. We can just create a configuration package for the item journal line table and then fill in all these tracking numbers, the lot number, serial number, or the expiration date or warranty date, just through one table, the item journal line table in the configuration package. So that's a really nice feature. And let's go back here. So I'm gonna skip this. Intercompany posting provides a one-stop shop setup experience because I do not have multiple companies in this environment, but I do want to say what this feature provide to you is like it put everything for the intercompany setup in just a one page intercompany setup page, and you can add intercompany partners, you can set up the intercompany chart of accounts and SC dimensions all in one page. You don't need to switch to different company to set it up anymore. So previously you have to go to different companies to set up SC partner code and intercompany information, and then you have to set up the IC partners in another page. So there's a different setup, but now it's all in one page. So this one posts multiple transfer orders at the same time. So this is a batch posting feature previously only available for the sales orders and purchase orders. Now it's available for the transfer order as well. So if you select all the transfer orders here, and you can do multi-select, and then you can go to post, and you see there's a post batch feature here. So you can use this and to post it. But if you do this batch posting during the business hours, it could bring, if you have lots of transfer orders to post, then it could bring performance issue. So then you can just, if you look at this, when you go here, then you can take a look of this report number, which is 5707, is a processing report. And then you can schedule this report in the job queue for the batch posting. And maybe you can schedule it to run after hours. Or you can consider to use the background posting feature to post the transfer orders in the background. But this is allow you to post multiple transfer orders all at once. Okay. And so next one, preview item journals and 20 other journals and documents before posting. So the preview posting feature previously only exists on the sales documents and purchase documents and the general journal. So those major documents and journals, and now Microsoft expanded to over another 20 journals and documents. Like you can do it in the you can do the preview posting in the item journal, you can do a physical inventory journal, consumption journal, capacity journal, transfer orders, assembly orders, lots of them. So like this, I'm on the transfer orders, and when I post this, I can go to this transfer order, and then I can just go to post and then preview posting. We have this feature available now, right? Okay, well, we are still on this transfer order, since in this release there's many features related to the transfer order. So another thing I want to show is for this transfer order, you could see already shipped, but I didn't receive it yet. So I created a transfer shipment, but I didn't post the transfer receipts yet. So if I navigate to the shipment, let's see where, to the shipment here, and then open this transfer shipment, and go to the line and you can undo the shipment. So that's another very nice feature regarding the transfer orders. So you can undo the shipment now. Previously, it's a headache. Once you post the transfer order and you have an in-transit location set up, and once you post the transfer shipment and you found there's a mistake, and you're kind of stuck in the middle because you cannot undo the shipment and you cannot receive it. You cannot reverse it. You cannot do anything, and that transfer order will, because it's stuck in the middle, then it will always appear in the transfer order list. It will never be removed here. Yeah, but with this feature, then we can easily just undo the shipment. Let's just undo it to see how it looks. So once you undo it, it just will reduce the quantity for the quantity shipped and move it back to the quantity to ship. So this one has been reversed. And then if you go back to the transfer order again, you can see it just reversed that quantity shipped, which is 3 before, and move it back to the quantity to ship. So this is a nice feature about the transfer order as well. Okay, so let's go back to here, and then we're just gonna review general journal accounts faster. This feature for the review is you have, I think there's some permission issue. I still couldn't review it. Even I'm a super user in this environment. And if I go to my general ledger entries and go to review entries, and I can multi-select. So this is a new feature added in this release. I can multi-select all these entries and say set selected as reviewed. So which means like this use case is like you are upgrading your Business Central from a previous version, and there's some data you want to upgrade it for the general ledger entries. You want to upgrade to the latest version, but some data you don't want. You only want to upgrade the data you reviewed to the latest version, so you can mark them as a reviewed. Yeah, but you can see the process I just showed you for how to mark them as a reviewed. And but because in this version, I think my version in this the version in my Docker container, probably because Microsoft released all these features, sometimes they said may still not available yet, right? So if I click on here, even it says public preview is March 2023, but it says some of the functionality described in this release plan has not been released. And so what happens to me is like, so even I'm a super user, I don't need to assign this permission set to myself anymore, but I do not have permission. So when I do that, you see set, you could see that is, there's a field added to the general ledger setup. Also, I do not see it. This that there's a field added. That field is called GL review date field. You can set that up in the general ledger setup. I do not see that field yet. So that could be another reason why I do not have that feature. You could see this after I multi-select these entries for review to set them as a reviewed. This button is grayed out, even I'm a super user. So I will just consider that it's not fully available in my Docker container yet to show you. And so set default dimensions on locations and inventory documents and journals. So to set the dimensions on the locations was already available a few release before, and in this version, Microsoft just completed that apart even further, because now you can set up the default dimension priorities with the setup you have for dimension setup you have on the locations. So on the location card, you can set up a dimension, and then so that's just a select area, and then after you set this up, then you can set up if you go to the default dimension priorities, and then you can set up like journal or documents you want that dimension to be applied, and you can set up the priority to apply the dimensions. So in this case, for the item journal, I set up item table to be priority 1 and the location table dimension to be priority 2. So if the dimension on the item has a different dimension value than the location card, and then the dimension on the item will apply instead of location. But you can switch the priority. You can set up the location to be number 1 and item to be number 2, and then the dimension on the location card will be applied first. Okay, so the next feature, let's go back to here, I want to show is for the setup and the synchronization of the master data across companies. This is a really nice feature because in previous version of Business Centrals, some of the clients, they need to customize it. So if they have multiple Business Central companies and they want the master data from one company to be synchronized to another company for initial synchronization, and later if they make any changes on the master data, they also want the changes to be synchronized to another company. So previously you have to do custom for that, or you have to use the LS Retail solution, which based on Business Central is LS Central. You have to use that, then you can do the replication between different Business Central companies. But in this version, Microsoft added this feature. So, but even before, we can use the configuration worksheet if you want to copy the master data between company. But to use that, the prerequisite is for the company you are copying the data to, in that destination company, for the same table has to be emptied. You cannot have any records in that table if you want to use that you want to copy the data this way using the configuration worksheet. But and what if like you made changes later on your master data, like you updated the customer card, and then you want that change to be synchronized to the other company? You cannot use that configuration worksheet anymore. So this has to be synchronization. And so this feature will allow you to do that. You just need to go to the master data management setup, and then from the master data management setup, then you can set up in my environment. So I'm gonna go to there's a shortcut key, so you can open all the environments and companies available, which is Control O. This feature was released in 2022 release with 2. So that's I press that shortcut key Control O to open this available companies. So you could see I have 2 companies available here. One is the company I'm on with the check mark, which is Kronos USA Inc. Another is my company. In this company, I do not have any. If I just switch to this company, I do not have any master data here. Okay, so like customers, vendors, items, and all these tables are blank. Chart of accounts, bank accounts, all these master data tables are blank. And so if I want to use this feature to synchronize the data between the two, then I can just set this up. I can go to my master data management setup, and then I want to say the source company is from in this case because I only have 2 companies to play with, right? So my source company, if I have another company, actually in this scenario I should go to my company to set it up, because in this my company I don't have any data. Okay, so I can go to the master data management and set up the source company will be this Kronos USA, because I have demo data there. and then I can enable the data synchronization. And then when you enable it, it just gives you some message for the warning and what it does, and it tells you some steps you can follow. I'm just gonna click on OK. So it tells you have to start the initial synchronization. This step will take long, but when you click on that, you could take a look what tables are available for synchronization. I don't really want to start it because it will it may freeze. You'd better do it after hours to avoid locking the table and sacrificing your production performance if you are doing it in your production. So, but you can see all these tables, and you can click on Start All to start the initial synchronization. And then you can see it created a lot of synchronization jobs in the job queue entry. Right now it's set as an on hold status, but when you click on Start in the initial synchronization, then it will start those job queue entries. And you can also go to the synchronization tables to take a look. All these tables is gonna be synchronized, and you can override the local change. So you can have different setup, and you can set up the filters as well. And but you see, these tables make sense because when you synchronize these master data table like the customer, vendor, items, chart of accounts, and you have to synchronize the underlying financial setups like those posting groups and the number series, because all these are required, and the dimensions. All these are required in order to synchronize the complete data for those master data table. Okay, so after you did the synchronization, then you can go to the synchronization log to take a look at the status, like how many records are inserted, modified, deleted, all those information. Okay, so this is a nice feature for you to replicate the data between different Business Central companies. And let's take a look of the next feature here. I want to say is the ship and receive non-inventory items on warehouse documents. And this is also a really exciting feature because this also requires development previously. So what happens is, like on your sales orders, if you have the warehouse document enabled, I'm just gonna switch to my company doesn't have any data, and I'm going to this Kronos company. So if we go to the sales orders, and so let's say if you have a sales order, on the sales order you have a item line, and you have non-inventory item line, and those non-inventory item could be GL account, resource, fixed asset, chart items, right? So when you post, if you create a warehouse document or inventory documents, maybe you create an inventory pick, you create a warehouse shipment from this. And when you post the inventory pick, or when you post a warehouse shipment, it doesn't post the non-inventory item line, because you have to go back to our sales order and post them separately. And so many clients will do a custom these non-inventory item line to post together with the inventory documents or warehouse documents posting. And with this feature, then Microsoft added additional field in the purchase and payable setup and sales and receivable setup. So you could see under the purchase and payable setup, we have this auto post. Let me just find that auto post non-inventory items while warehouse. So then you have three options here. One is none. It means you don't auto post, and you have attached or assigned. If you select this option, then the non-inventory item, as long as they're attached to the inventory item line, then they'll get posted. If you select all, so as long as you post one of the item from the purchasing document or sales documents in your warehouse documents or inventory documents, as long as you post one of them, then that the non-inventory items lines will get posted. So I think this attached will make more sense, because you may not want it to get posted. Only one is attached, then you want it to get posted. So how can you do it? So you can see on the sales order on the sales line, you have a field called attached to attached to line number. Just let you know, this attached to line number is not showing by default. But even you go to personalize, you will not see it. You have to go to design. And if you go to design, then you go to the field, then you will be able to add it. And then you have to save this as an extension. But yeah, so that's how you can do it right now. That's how I added this field. So, and after you added this field, then this line number to 20,000 will show attached to line number shows at 0. And in order for you to attach a line number, then you have to go to the you have to go to the line functions, then go to attach to inventory item line. Once you click on that, it will give you the option. Then you can select the sales line for the inventory item to attach it to. That's how I did it. That's how I made this attached to line number on this GL account line to show up as 10,000. Okay, so and after you did that, if you create a warehouse shipment and you posted this inventory item, then when you post the sales orders, then this GL account will be posted together. And let me see for this location. I may not be able to show you. Let's see for this location what location code I have. I don't have a location code here. So in order for me to show you this feature, I have to give it a location code. Let's see. The one I have the warehouse shipment enabled. I think it's the yellow. That yellow location doesn't have. Okay, so I'm just gonna touch this yellow. Okay, so this will ask me to create a warehouse shipment for this order. Then we can take a look. Okay, so let's just go to the order actions actually, then functions and order. Create, oh sorry, it should be under the warehouse, but this is for the history. And other, it's really hard to find it, right? Okay, so we need to create a warehouse shipment. And just let you know, in this release, Microsoft also let you to put the most used functions you could see under the home. We can customize, like if like drill into many different layers to find what you need. It's not really convenient. If you use a function very frequently, then you can just personalize and put it under the home or prepare to a tab like you use most often. So we can see actually it is under the home. I'm just gonna go to create a what we are gonna do. We are gonna create a warehouse shipment for this. Okay, and then a warehouse shipment has been created. And in this location, because I also have the require pick enabled, so I have to, there's multiple steps for this. I have to create a pick for this as well. Nothing to handle because once it's related to warehousing, and depends on your setup, it just have more complexity involved. But I know my issue is not because I didn't assign the user. And you need to assign yourself to the warehouse employees. And in this case, I have this default as white. I'm just gonna switch it at yellow. And then do not fill quantity. Oh, another thing is like I may not have any quantity for the. I may not have any quantity available for us to register the pick in this scenario. Do not fill. Okay, let's try it again. It still says nothing to handle. I think my issue is here. Oh, okay, let's see. Now, that's another thing I want to talk about, because in this version, in this release, Microsoft also made the documents to auto-released when you create a warehouse shipment from the sales order. Previously, it's like when you create, the status will be open. And then just to avoid more clicks for you, they made this automation, like when you create a warehouse shipment from the sales order, it just automatically releases the warehouse shipment. So that's quantity. Oh, okay. So it gives me another error now, and it's not easy to create this pick. So because I didn't, we are just let's see what is really the issue. Pick. It's not my. I know it's not my user because I have this assigned user ID here, and then it just like it says nothing to handle. We should set up nothing to handle, and then we are not able to enter the quantity to ship because only after you picked it, then it will must not be greater than 0. Yeah, because we haven't registered a pick yet. Then only after you register the pick, then it will populate the quantity to ship. So what is my problem? And another thing we can take a look is my warehouse setup. In my warehouse setup, I want to say stop and show the first posting arrow. Okay, receipt and shipment, stop and show the first posting arrow. So usually if you select that setting, then it will give you more details on what is wrong when you try to do it. Okay, so we do need to review this default because this yellow location is brought in by that Microsoft extension. We do need to take a look what is we don't have the bins in, we don't have zones in this location, and then we just need to make sure we have enough inventory for us to pick. So right now it seems like we don't have enough inventory for us to pick in this location. So I'm just gonna go to this location and adjust the inventory for this yellow location, and I'm gonna add 100 for this even for this location. So then it should allow us to pick, and let's try this again. Yeah, you see, this resolved the issue. So don't be panicked when you cannot do something, and go to the pick lines and show the documents. So this is the pick ticket credit, and then we just need to register the pick for it. Okay, so this is done, and so it's just we just want to demo the feature, like when you post this warehouse shipment, you have the GL account line will be automatically posted. Then we have to go through all this setup in order to post it. So I'm just gonna say, because I want to leave it, I want to still leave that sales order there, so we can take a look of the GL account lines got posted. Click on OK. Okay, then it got posted. We're back to the sales order, and then we can take a look of this quantity. It did it. So quantity shipped for both the inventory item and the GL account lines populated. Okay, so it did ship this additional lines for non-inventory item because it attached to the inventory item. Okay, so this is a nice feature, and it just we had a really actual hassle to go through the warehousing process because I didn't prepare that in advance and review that setup, and we have a little bit hassle on this. Okay, the next feature is the Shopify Connector becomes extensible. So this Shopify Connector, Microsoft Shopify Connector, previously you cannot extend it, and in this version, Microsoft provided the partners just a very limited. It's not everything you can extend. It just provided you number of points to a minimum, but they they provided you some of the features you can extend, but not everything. So they keep it to the number of points to a minimum just to avoid you break the system. But you are able to extend it now. And undo transfer shipment actually already demonstrated when I showed the you can batch posting multiple transfer orders, already demonstrated this. And usability improved for transfer orders, select multiple items, mandatory fields. I should have demonstrated when I demonstrated transfer orders, but this is a really good feature as well. For example, on this, I'm just gonna delete all these lines. I just keep the first line. So I previously the select items, this feature is only available on the sales orders or purchase orders. And when you add the sales line or purchase line items, but now it's available for the transfer orders as well. Then you can multi-select the items you want to add to the transfer order lines. You just need to scroll down and then shift and click on the last one, and it will multi-select all those from the beginning to the end, and click on OK. And then you see all these items are added. Like you can multi-select the items you want to add and add them all in one go. So this is a nice feature as well. And come back to here, synchronize return. This I'm gonna skip this. Use statistical accounts to collect data. Because this feature, the public preview is available, but I don't know how much value this can bring. And all these ones I want to skip as well. Yeah, so it just because you still have to manually record the statistic journal, and you have to do your own analysis and record it. So I don't know how much value it will bring, because what happens is like you have this statistical, instead of previously you have the general ledger entries which record your financials, but it has the quantity, amount, all those fields. But sometimes you want to track your like you have some other business metrics measures you want to use to track your financial performance. And in this version, so Microsoft provided you something called a statistical account. Statistical account and the statistical journal. So you have to set it up, and it can be by any measures you want to report on your business. So I just set up something as a square meter. I feel this feature is similar like the cost accounting, because in cost accounting, you set up your cost center and you can set up some additional measures, and but you can associate with your GL account. This is similar than that feature. And then you can go to your statistical account journal, and you can enter your journal, post it, and create the ledger entries for it. But how you enter it, how you enter this number when you create a journal, you still have to do your own analysis, or you have to record it, right? And then you enter this amount. So what I'm talking is like how you get this amount here. So you still need to do the analysis in order for you to enter this amount, because it's not tracked by your system. You have to analyze your general ledger entries, and then you enter this amount by yourself. So I don't see much value on this. And synchronized returns, refunds from Shopify, you can see there's no public preview. It's just Microsoft want to put it on the roadmap. And because for this Microsoft Shopify Connector, it's previously you can only synchronize the orders, and you cannot synchronize the returns or refund from Shopify. They just want to make it available for this release, but it's not available yet. Okay, so for the governance, because I'm not a developer, and so I will skip the country and the regional. They added more support for different countries, different regions, and I'm gonna skip the development. And for the governance and administration, they also have some, let me see, include, so they have some features added for the migration. If you are migrating from, let's say, if you migrating from Dynamics GP to Business Central Cloud, then they, for this cloud migration tool, they provided more better status overview for that, and you have the flexibility to include actual tables or records when you migrate the data from your legacy Dynamics ERP system. And then this feature is interesting because for the delegated admin, like we work as a partner for our clients' environments, and we usually use the dedicated admin account to access their Business Central because it doesn't require a Business Central license. And then it only allow us very limited access to the system. We can set up a job queue, but we cannot start it. And in this release, Microsoft added one more workflow. You can create that workflow from the templates. And then this workflow is for the delegated admin to request the approval from the clients to start the job queue entry. And once the client receive it and approve that, then the job queue entries you created. So after you create the job queue entry, you can just it will be in the on hold status until the job queue until your request to start a job queue is approved by the client, then it will be started. Transfer environments between Azure AD tenants. This is a nice feature because if you have multiple Business Central environments and you want to transfer one environment to the other, then you can control it by the Azure Active Directory through Azure Active Directory. And so this manage user permissions using security groups. And so you can also use Azure Active Directory to create security groups to control your Business Central user permissions. So yeah, and this legislation is about VAT. So I'm gonna skip that because in North America we don't use it. And for the productivity with Microsoft 365, what I think is a good feature is this one, because we already talked about this Teams. This release has a lot to do with the Teams for how you share the data from Business Central to your Teams. And so this easily set up access with Microsoft 365 licenses is in Business Central. In this release, it created a wizard for you. Then you can use that wizard, which is called Microsoft 365 license setup. It's a wizard, and then you can just go through this wizard, and then it will set up your additional permissions for those users who does not have Business Central license, but they have a Microsoft 365 license. So which means by using this feature, you can share the data from Business Central to the Teams with those users, and they can view the data in Teams, but they do not need a Business Central license. So this is a way to save you some cost on the Business Central licensing. And you just need to go through the setup, and you can configure the permissions for what permissions you want those users in Teams to have to access your business data through Teams. And then because this is my evaluation environment with Kronos demo database, I can set it up to don't restrict access and enable this access. And then we can finish this setup. Okay, you just need to follow this wizard because my environment is a Docker container. It doesn't connect to Teams as the Business Central SaaS tenant. I will just skip it. But this is a really nice feature. You just need to go through that wizard to allow your Teams user access your business data from Business Central in Teams without getting a Business Central license. And there's a reporting data analysis. This is a really nice feature. I will say this is a big improvement in this Business Central release, in this 2023 release with one. And what it does, if you go to any Business Central list, it doesn't matter if it's customers, any list page, and then on those list page on the top, you see there's a checkbox. So this Boolean field called analyze, and you can enable that. Once you enable that, then you will be able to add it. It's like you don't even need to open in Excel, use the open Excel or edit in Excel feature to analyze your Business Central data. You can just analyze the Business Central data within Business Central. So that's really nice. And then you can have these columns, analysis features, you can use them. And so I'm just gonna use this customer ledger entries as example because this has more data we can, it's a ledger entries, has more data we can analyze. And you can enable this columns, and then you can make the column to show or not show by check them or uncheck them. And then you can add groups in this case, because I have these customer ledger entries in different customer group. So you can see I have a column called customer group. Then I can just group the data. What I can do, I just need to highlight this column, drag it to the row groups. And after I did that, now you can see it's grouped like this. Like in Excel, you can group the data. And and also I can just add a customer name under it. So it creates a subgroup under this. And you can see under this customer groups, I have these customer names. And under this one, I have these customer names. So it added subgroups. And I can also made it to a pivot mode. When you turn on the pivot mode, it's like in the Excel spreadsheet, you're using a pivot table to do the analysis. And then you can add a column labels. So in this case, if I want to use the document type as a column labels, I just need to, if you just click on that, it doesn't do it. So you have to drag it. You see, when I just put my cursor under this kind of like a tiles, and it turns to a little hand. When it turns to that, then you drag it to the column labels. Then you could see on the top, I have the document. I have this document type as a column labels. But because I have too many values here to analyze, then it's not easy for you to see them. I'm just gonna remove all these additional columns from the values. Only gonna analyze this original amount. So you can see these labels added to the column, but actually this is my document type. We have the invoice and we have the payment. So that's how you can do this analysis. And also you can go to the analysis filters, and you can analyze the data by all these filters. Let's say I'm gonna analyze the data by the date range from March 1st to March the 31st. Then you could see the data changed, right? Once I put those filters. And another thing is like on the top, you have all these additional, it's a little bit frozen now, okay? So on the top, you can click on the plus sign to add another analysis view. And maybe on the analysis one, you want to use the pivot table, and the analysis two, you just want to show all the data. So then you can create additional tabs, but just click on the plus sign. And also you can duplicate. You can duplicate this analysis one, and like in Excel, you duplicate it, then you create this analysis one copy, and then you can move them. You can say, I want to rearrange them and move this analysis copy to the left. Oh, sorry, move this analysis to the right, and then you could move it to the right again. So then you just switch them. Okay, so you can and you can rename it. I just want to make this analysis 3. Okay, so you can rename it. So you can do different things here, and like you have the flexibility in the Excel spreadsheet. So this is a really nice feature in this version for the reporting. And so we have this service and platform. In this, I will mention like the OData performance is faster, because most of the integration like external system have with Business Central is through the OData web service call. And in this version, Microsoft made the OData web service call much faster. I think it's 25% faster. Let's take a look here. 40% faster. Okay, and that's a big improvement. And also allow application and tenant database to differ in collation, because Business Central SaaS is a multi-tenant environment, and then previously like the underlying database has to be there's a system application, base application, the collation for the database need to be the same. But in this version, it allows you to use different collations. For example, your company has operations in different countries, then the database collation required for different format of the data may be different. So you want to use different collation in your database. So in this version, it allows you to have different collation in your database. And then the underlying technology will be .NET standard. And Microsoft is, if you are on-premise and previously you are using .NET Framework 6, right? And in this version, you have to upgrade it to .NET standard. Okay. For the user experience, I will say this is a very nice feature. Drag and drop files onto the file upload dialog. So previously, like if you can go to attachment and attach something. That's just a remote because I want to open. Oh, sorry. I want to switch off this analysis, but this analysis view is nice. But you see, sometimes it just becomes unresponsive and kind of frozen after you did too much things for analysis on the page. So I just want to go to another page, and then if it's frozen. Okay, so what I want to do, I want to show you like for this feature, drag and drop feature, I want to go to, let me just go here, remove this. Maybe I have to restart my tenants. Okay, so but maybe I don't want to waste the time there. So but previously you can just add a attachment to a list page and to a cart page, and but you have to click on upload, and then it will have you to select the files in your local file system, like on your local computer. And in this version, you can just use the drag and drop. You don't need to click to select the files. You just like previously, some clients who need to do that, and for the convenience, then they have the InsideWorks doc extender installed. And for the doc extender, it has the drag and drop feature. And then in the fact box, then you can just drag and drop the files to attach. So Microsoft made this feature available in their Business Central out-of-box version in this 2023 release with 1. You can just drag and drop the file from your local system and attach to the Business Central page. Okay, so this is the next feature. And I think that's all, because all the other things is just some improvements for user experience, like the themes. It's already mentioned in the application area for the features, and it has talks about the action bars, the modern action bars. Yeah, so I will skip them, but I think all these, what I demonstrated, are the most impressive feature in this release. And because some of them will require customization before, now they become the out-of-box features. Okay, thank you very much for watching this YouTube video. I hope to see you guys again next time.